some sleep.
Let me show you what goes on behind the scenes when making a shakaroni.
Bust it.
We created shakaroni my way, an extra large pizza topped with extra cheese and extra pepperoni. It's a simple recipe. We take everything you love, then we build it bigger. Pizza gets bigger when you shakaroni.
Get 5 years free interest on Tempur-Pedic at Mermaid Mattress.
A beautiful film featuring the work of a Chattanooga legend and his efforts to help families across the country find help and hope for their beautiful children premieres this Friday, November 3rd at the Roland Hayes Concert Hall at UTC. Beautiful Faces is the latest work by Emmy award-winning producer Dagan Beckett and chronicles the work of Dr. Larry Sargent to help children born with craniofacial differences. So we're very happy this morning to have Dagan in the studio with us. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, Julie.
I think that I might have gotten a little bit of that wrong, only because I believe what you want is to focus not so much on just what Dr. Sargent has done, but the whole story behind the effort. Is that right?
Yeah, so really the film chronicles the legacy of Dr. Larry Sargent and everything he's done, and it takes place over the course of basically an 8-hour-long surgery. And as we're going along during the surgery, we kind of take a trip and get the backstory of some of the parents and the patients and stuff. And one story in particular focuses on the mother of her daughter who's being operated on that day. And we really get the backstory of how they got to where they're at. So when you get to the end of the film, you have like a whole new perspective of what they've gone through as a family.
How much did you know before you started doing this?
Nothing.
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 So is part of the joy for you as a filmmaker in the discovery, and do you enjoy kind of going in with very little knowledge and then feeling your way through?
Yeah, that's a great question. The cool thing about documentary filmmaking is you have an idea what you're going into, and when you get out of it, it's usually totally different. And I went in making a film on Dr. Larry Sargent, and that's it. And as we film and as we get to know the families and foster relationships with them, you just kind of pivot and take little turns, and the story goes in directions you never dreamed would go. And the cool thing about this story is it really addresses the issue of mental health on a level that really isn't addressed on a daily basis. The things that these parents admit, the thoughts that they go through their head, they're very brave to admit the things that they do. And the full circle journey is something I think can change lives, and it's just a really amazing journey.
Because just like if you were to read a biography on somebody, you're never going to be that person, but you can take away experiences of that person and bring it into your life. So the same is true with this.
Exactly, you know, and really for me on a personal level, you know, each film I do, a certain aspect of it is me working out things in my life. And so for me in this film, this is me really dealing with mental health through the narrative and the lens, through my lens of these families. And so the cool thing about storytelling is it kind of sets a precedence for what we need in our lives. And so we're hoping through this film, through the things that Larry Sargent has done and the journey that these parents and their children have been on, will set a standard for moving forward as we deal with healthcare, medical needs, mental health, and all that going forward.
How long is the film?
It's about 90 minutes long.
Okay, so, and you've been working on this for how long, Dagan?
About 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and when you go to see it, and this is truly true for anything you see in the video film world, one of the powers that is often overlooked is the ability to edit. That is incredibly difficult, right? You had to make some serious choices about what you kept in and what you took out to move the story along.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is you sit there to watch the movie and it doesn't seem like 90 minutes. I mean, it is a roller coaster ride from beginning to end. It never lags. And you know, the sad part about some of that is that there are some really important narrative and story pieces that we really want to keep in the film, but unfortunately, you know, we had to cut to focus keep our focus on one direction to keep the audience moving instead of going in different directions. And you know, filming for 2 years, you get a lot of amazing things captured, and unfortunately you just can't keep them all, but we're really proud of what we do have and the narrative that we have, and it just, I'm telling you, Julie, it keeps the audience, you are on the edge of your seat for an hour and a half.
I think I'm okay to say this. You know, we have an organization in town, we feature them here on the show periodically, we did over the summer, called Faces, and it is the national craniofacial Foundation. So they're helping kids from all over the country, as does Dr. Sargent, but they're here in our own backyard. People don't realize just how far-reaching this is.
Yeah, Dr. Sargent is the foremost authority really in the world on craniofacial reconstruction. He's Johns Hopkins trained, and we have him here in Chattanooga. He's here in Chattanooga, and people from all over the world, all over the country come and see him. And I feel fortunate as a filmmaker to be the person to get to document and see him at work. When I was filming, when we had unprecedented access to his surgery, and we captured things on film that have never been captured before in the history of film. The type of access we had with these craniofacial surgeries is just unreal. And for me personally, as a filmmaker, getting to watch him is like watching an artist sculpt. It's unreal.
Do you think you might reach a point where you share some of that, like with medical schools and things in the future?
If it's needed, but I'm going to be honest, Julie, a lot of it's in the film.
Okay.
We show a lot of that in the film.
Okay. Will there be any families represented at the premiere?
Yes, we're going to have a panel discussion afterwards, and families most of the families that appear in the film will be there, and they'll be available to talk to and you know, just hear about their journey outside of the film afterwards.
It's all about perspective in life, and so when you come to see this film, you'll walk away probably with a very different perspective, and it will fill you. You'll be surprised. So if you go to the Roland Hayes Concert Hall, it all begins at 6:30. Does the film actually start at 7?
Yeah, so what's cool is starting at 6:30, we've got our red carpet, we've got photos, so come and get fancy and get free photos made on our red carpets.
Okay.
There's meet and greets, there's live music, and then at 7 we're going to start the screening, have some announcements, and then following the screening we're going to have a panel discussion with Dr. Sargent and some of the family members.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Julie.
Scan the code now and download the free Local 3 weather app, powered by your Local 3 Storm Alert team. Live radar for your neighborhood. Accurate local forecasts, anytime, anywhere. The Local 3 weather app, presented by the Chattanooga Allergy Clinic.
Kick off the holiday season. Join us for the 25th Annual Holiday Open House in downtown Dalton from November 2nd through the 5th. Shop, dine, and celebrate the season with us. Don't miss out on all the holiday cheer happening in downtown Dalton.
Bojangles just launched the new limited time only Bo's Burger.